What if I told you there's a way to bend reality so quickly, it almost feels like cheating? Not someday, not years from now, but within hours, even minutes. It sounds impossible, unreal. And yet, one man spent decades proving that the mind can shape reality faster than science dares to admit. His name was Jacobo Grinberg, and what he uncovered about consciousness might be the missing link you've been searching for. Grinberg wasn't just another spiritual teacher. He was a trained psychologist, a researcher, and a man obsessed with solving one question: what creates reality itself? While most scientists were mapping neurons, Grinberg believed the brain wasn't creating experience at all. It was receiving it, like an antenna. He called it the Syntergic Theory, and it shook the scientific world. According to Grinberg, surrounding all of us is an invisible energetic structure, what he called the lattice. It holds every possible version of reality, like a cosmic blueprint. And here's where things get strange. Your mind doesn't just look at this lattice, it can edit it. When your thoughts, emotions, and intentions align perfectly, the lattice reshapes itself and reality follows. That means manifestation isn't about hoping or waiting. It's about syncing your inner world with this universal field. And when you do it right, changes happen fast. So fast they almost look illegal. But Grinberg's story isn't just about theory. It's about danger, mystery, and a discovery so powerful, it may have cost him his life. Because just as his research was gaining international attention, he vanished. No goodbye, no clue. One day, he was preparing to reveal his findings. The next, he was gone. Some believe he disappeared into the very field he studied. Others think he was silenced, because he was about to expose something humanity wasn't ready to handle. Either way, what he left behind is a blueprint, a step-by-step path to shaping reality at extraordinary speed. In this video, you'll learn exactly how Grinberg believed manifestation works on a scientific and energetic level. You'll discover why most people unknowingly slow their manifestations down and how a few simple shifts can speed yours up dramatically. We'll break down how your thoughts send ripples into the lattice, how emotions supercharge them, and how releasing resistance unlocks the final barrier between you and the reality you want. And here's the twist. Once you understand this, you won't just manifest things, you'll change how you see reality itself. You'll understand why time seems to bend when your focus is razor sharp, why synchronicities multiply when your mind is quiet, and how even the smallest inner shift can trigger enormous outer results. So if you've been struggling to make manifestation work, or you've been getting small results but want to break through to something truly life-changing, this could be the moment where everything clicks. Stay with me until the end, because the steps I'll share are simple, but when combined, they're like a key turning inside the lock of reality. Grinberg believed anyone could learn this, but only if they were willing to look deeper, beyond logic, beyond fear, and into the quiet power of their own mind. If you're ready to see what's truly possible when you align with the field that shapes reality itself, then welcome to Awakened Synchronicity. Make sure you subscribe, and let's step into the world Jacobo Grinberg tried to show us before it vanished with him. Before we talk about the extraordinary speed of manifestation, we need to slow down and ask something simple. What is manifestation? Really? The word gets thrown around everywhere, wrapped in glittery promises and vague ideas, but few stop to look at what it actually means. At its core, manifestation is not about wishing, it's not about forcing, it's about translating what exists in the mind into what exists in the physical world. It's the process of shaping reality through the patterns of your thoughts, emotions, and intentions until what was once invisible becomes tangible. Most people think manifestation is about trying harder. They imagine that if they just push enough, work enough, or repeat affirmations 100 times a day, something will finally click. But Jacobo Grinberg saw things differently. He believed that manifestation is not a matter of effort, but of alignment. In his view, the human mind is constantly interacting with what he called the lattice, a universal energetic field that contains all possible versions of reality. Your brain, according to him, doesn't produce your experience. It selects and shapes it, like tuning into a frequency on a radio. This means that what you experience as reality is already out there in countless possible forms. You're not building it from scratch, you're connecting to one version and pulling it into focus. That's why effort alone often fails. Imagine trying to push open a door that actually opens inward. The more you push, the more resistance you create. Many people treat manifestation this way. They struggle, they try to force something into being, thinking their effort will convince the universe to deliver it. But if they're in a state, their beliefs, emotions and focus are pointing in the opposite direction, their effort only strengthens the block. They end up exhausting themselves without moving closer to what they want. Another common misunderstanding is the idea that manifestation is just about vibrating high. People hear that they must be in a constant state of joy, excitement, or positivity, and if they feel sad or worried, they believe they've ruined their chances. But real manifestation is not about forcing yourself to feel happy all the time. It's about coherence. Grinberg explained that when your mental field and emotional energy are coherent, they interact with the lattice in a stable way, like a clean signal. When they're scattered, they create noise, and the lattice reflects that noise back into your life. This means you can manifest powerfully even without fake positivity, as long as your inner state is unified and honest. Think of it like this: if you pretend to be confident while secretly believing you're unworthy, your mind is sending two opposite signals. The lattice responds to the stronger one, which is usually the hidden belief. This is why many people say they want something yet never see it appear. They don't realize their inner field is full of contradictions. They try to pile positive thoughts on top of doubt instead of dissolving the doubt itself. To Grinberg, this was the main reason most people stay stuck. It's not that they're doing something wrong on the outside, it's that they're broadcasting mixed patterns on the inside. He also warned against treating manifestation like magic spells or wishful daydreaming. It's not about sitting in a corner imagining money falling from the sky. It's about generating a state of inner certainty that reshapes your interaction with the field. This certainty isn't forced. It's calm, focused, and emotionally charged, like a laser instead of a flickering candle. When you hold a clear mental image, feel its emotional reality as if it's already here, and stop arguing with it inside your head. Your neuronal field becomes synchronized. According to Grinberg's Syntergic Theory, that synchronization interacts with the lattice and reorganizes your perceived reality around it. So when people say, just think positive, they're only touching the surface. Positive thoughts without emotional depth are like whispers in a storm. The field barely notices them. But when thought and emotion fuse into one coherent signal, it becomes impossible for reality not to shift. This is why manifestation sometimes appears sudden or miraculous. Not because something came out of nowhere, but because the moment your signal becomes clean, the version of reality that matches it locks into place. What seemed invisible simply becomes the version you're now tuned to. Understanding this changes everything. It means manifestation isn't something you chase or struggle toward. It's something you allow by creating internal clarity. If you've ever had moments when everything just clicked, without effort, when opportunities showed up out of nowhere, or people said exactly what you needed to hear, you've tasted it. Those moments weren't random. They were flashes of alignment, where your mind briefly stopped resisting the field and became part of its flow. Grinberg believed you could make this state intentional instead of accidental. So before diving into how to manifest at incredible speed, it's important to strip away the myths. It's not about force. It's not about pretending to be happy. It's not about desperate wishing. It's about learning how your mind interacts with the very structure of reality, and then shaping that interaction with clarity, emotion, and focus. When you see manifestation this way, not as magic, but as a precise interaction between your consciousness and the universal lattice, the entire game changes. What once felt like a struggle begins to feel like tuning an instrument. Subtle shifts create powerful echoes, and when you align the signal fully, reality has no choice but to follow. Jacobo Grinberg believed that to understand how manifestation truly works, you have to look beyond the physical world and see what's happening behind the curtain of perception. He called this hidden structure the lattice, an invisible, energetic field that holds every possible configuration of reality. According to his Syntergic Theory, what we see as the external world is not a fixed, objective thing, but the result of a constant interaction between three elements: the neuronal field of the brain, the lattice itself, and our conscious focus. The neuronal field, as Grinberg described it, is the web of electrical activity created by our brain and nervous system. Every thought, image, emotion, and sensation we have creates patterns in this field. But instead of producing reality inside the skull, he believed this neuronal field acts more like a projector or transmitter. It interacts with the lattice, which contains infinite possible realities in a kind of energetic potential. The patterns from our neuronal field don't just stay inside us, they reach into the lattice and select the version of reality that matches them. And our conscious focus works like a lens, sharpening and intensifying certain parts of this projection while leaving others blurry or invisible. In Grinberg's view, reality isn't something that just happens to you, it's something your mind is actively constructing. When your neuronal field is scattered, sending out conflicting signals, you get chaos or stagnation. But when it becomes coherent, when your thoughts, emotions, and attention align, the lattice reorganizes itself around that signal. This is why some people seem to manifest quickly, while others struggle endlessly. It's not about who is luckier or who works harder. It's about who can create a clear enough inner pattern that reality has no choice but to reflect it. Grinberg often emphasized internal coherence as the key factor. Internal coherence means your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and intentions are all pointing in the same direction. Imagine aiming a beam of light. If the light scatters in all directions, it fades. But if it concentrates into a single focused beam, it becomes powerful enough to cut through metal. That's what happens when your mind becomes coherent. The neuronal field emits a clear pattern, and the lattice locks onto it. This is the state where manifestation becomes fast, sometimes shockingly fast. But most people are not coherent. They are full of resistance, doubt, and fear. Often without even realizing it, they might say they want abundance, but secretly fear losing it. They might affirm love, but believe deep down that they're unworthy of it. These contradictions split their signal. Their thoughts push one way, their emotions pull the other way, and their attention keeps flickering between hope and fear. In the language of Syntergic Theory, their neuronal field becomes noisy. When this noisy field touches the lattice, it produces distorted results. Instead of one clear reality forming, they get mixed fragments, small wins that collapse, opportunities that slip away, progress that reverses. This is why misalignment of thought and emotion is the silent killer of manifestation. The lattice does not respond to words or surface-level thoughts alone. It responds to the whole pattern of your consciousness. If you say, "I am wealthy," but feel anxiety, scarcity, and disbelief as you say it, the emotion cancels the thought. The stronger signal always wins, and emotion is almost always stronger than logic. So when people fail to manifest, it's rarely because they're not trying hard enough. It's because they're trying with their conscious mind, while their emotional field is screaming the opposite. Grinberg's approach to changing this was not about working harder. It was about aligning faster. He believed that when you bring your inner world into harmony, the outer world shifts almost immediately, because the lattice has no delay once it receives a stable pattern. There are 4 simple steps to doing this, and though they are simple, they must be done with precision. Step 1 is creating a clear intention with strong belief. Intention is the seed of manifestation. It's the image or idea you want to bring into form. But for it to take root, belief has to hold it steady. If you plant the seed while doubting it will grow, your doubt poisons it. Grinberg suggested focusing on something you can genuinely believe is possible. First, to train your mind to experience success. As your belief strengthens, your intentions can expand. This creates a foundation of trust between your mind and the lattice. Step 2 is emotional matching. Once the intention is chosen, you must feel as if it's already real. This is not about pretending or forcing happiness. It's about generating the natural emotional state you would have if your desire were already fulfilled. If your intention is love, feel warmth, connection, and joy. If your intention is abundance, feel security, gratitude, and freedom. This emotional energy fuses with your thought pattern, amplifying its strength in the neuronal field. When the emotional frequency matches the mental image, the lattice begins to align with it. Step 3 is focus without resistance. Focus means holding your attention on your intention clearly without letting it scatter. But resistance creeps in when you become attached to the outcome, when you keep checking if it's working or worrying about how it will happen. This attachment creates tension in the field, which disrupts coherence. Grinberg taught that the most powerful focus is relaxed. It is like holding an image gently in your mind while trusting it will arrive. You do not have to force the lattice. You simply align with it and allow it to reorganize around you. Step 4 is the use of repetition or ritual. The neuronal field strengthens through repetition. Every time you revisit your intention with aligned emotion and relaxed focus, the signal grows clearer. Grinberg often observed that rituals, even very simple ones, train the brain to return to the same state faster. Lighting a candle, sitting in the same quiet place, breathing in a certain pattern, these cues tell the nervous system to enter the manifestation state. Over time, this repetition locks the intention into the lattice, until it becomes physical reality. To support these steps, Grinberg explored several techniques for increasing coherence and strengthening the connection between the mind and the lattice. One of the most powerful is meditation. Meditation quiets the noise of the mind, dissolving the chaotic thoughts that scramble the neuronal field. When the mind becomes still, its field becomes smooth and clear, like a calm lake. This clarity allows your intention to imprint onto the lattice without interference. Even a few minutes of deep silence can shift your entire energetic signature. Another core technique is visualization. Visualization means forming a vivid mental image of your desired reality, not just as a picture, but as a full sensory experience. You see it, hear it, feel it in your body. The brain responds to these imagined experiences almost the same way it responds to real ones, firing the same neurons and creating the same energetic patterns. When paired with the right emotion, visualization becomes a rehearsal that teaches your neuronal field to emit the pattern of your desired reality until the lattice aligns with it. Grinberg also valued internal focus, concentrating deeply on a single point or thought until your attention becomes completely absorbed. This state, sometimes called one-pointed awareness, eliminates mental distractions. It forces the neuronal field into coherence by aligning all its activity on one pattern. The longer you sustain this state, the more powerful the imprint you leave on the lattice. This is why many mystics, monks, and advanced practitioners can manifest rapidly. They can hold this laser-like focus far longer than the average mind, which constantly drifts. Finally, he spoke of affirmations repeated with feeling. While affirmations alone can be weak, when spoken with full emotional conviction, they become commands to the neuronal field. The key is not the words, but the feeling they generate. A flat, "I am abundant," does nothing, but a deeply felt "I am safe, I am supported, I am overflowing with life" floods the body with the vibration of abundance, rewriting the emotional signature that the lattice responds to. Each repetition deepens the groove of this pattern until it becomes your default signal. These methods are not tricks or shortcuts. They are ways of tuning your consciousness so precisely that the lattice cannot help but shift around you when your neuronal field becomes coherent through clear intention, emotional resonance, relaxed focus, and consistent repetition. The boundary between inner and outer begins to blur. The world stops feeling separate. What you think and feel begins to echo back at you almost instantly. This is how Grinberg believed manifestation could become so fast that it seems impossible, not because reality is being forced to change, but because your alignment makes the change effortless. Grinberg often warned that the very drive to make manifestation happen can become the reason it doesn't. This is one of the most paradoxical truths about working with the lattice. The moment you try too hard, you create tension. That tension breaks the coherence of your neuronal field. When you push, you're silently announcing to the universe that what you want isn't here yet, and that you must force it to come. That message of lack echoes louder than the image of your desire. The lattice does not respond to effort, it responds to resonance. Trying too hard turns your energy chaotic, like shaking a compass and wondering why it won't point north. This is why people who are desperate rarely manifest quickly. Their mind is filled with urgency and stress, which scatters their focus and fills their field with noise. They might be visualizing every day, repeating affirmations every hour, and checking for signs every moment. Yet they see nothing. They mistake their activity for power, when in truth their inner state is resisting the very thing they're calling in. Grinberg emphasized that manifestation is more like floating than swimming. It's not about thrashing to stay above water. It's about becoming so light that the water naturally carries you. Another trap he described is confusing wishful thinking with true belief. Many people say they believe they will get what they want, but inside they are only wishing. Wishful thinking is fragile. It breaks the first moment something goes wrong. It needs external proof to stay alive. True belief doesn't ask for proof because it carries its own certainty. It's quiet, calm, and unshakable, even when nothing seems to be happening. Wishful thinking sends out a flickering signal, constantly blinking on and off with emotion. True belief sends out a steady beam, and the lattice can lock onto it. Grinberg suggested that the way to know the difference is to notice how your body feels when you think about your desire. If you feel tense, anxious, or hollow, you are wishing. If you feel relaxed, peaceful, or quietly excited, you are believing. Your emotional tone tells the truth even when your words don't. This is why repeating affirmations without addressing hidden doubt rarely works. The surface words say, "I will succeed," but the body is saying, "I don't believe this," and the body always wins. Until the emotional field shifts, the neuronal field will stay fractured, and the lattice will continue to reflect that fracture back into reality. Doubt is the third great disruptor. Losing alignment when doubting is the most common reason people manifest something partially, then watch it fall apart. They set a clear intention, feel it strongly, focus with confidence, and for a moment, their neuronal field becomes coherent and powerful. The lattice begins to reorganize, but then they start watching for signs, and fear creeps in. What if it doesn't work? What if I was wrong? That doubt splinters their signal. Instead of the steady vibration of belief, they send a mixed pattern of hope and fear. The lattice, like a mirror, reflects the mixed pattern. Opportunities appear, then vanish. Results come, then reverse. It's not punishment. It's simply physics at the level of consciousness. Grinberg often compared this process to tuning an old radio. When you are aligned, you get a clear station. The moment you move the dial even slightly off, static returns. Doubt is static. The answer is not to fight the doubt, but to let it dissolve by returning your attention to the feeling of certainty. He said certainty is not logical, it is experiential. You don't argue with doubt, you replace its emotional signature with the emotional signature of already having what you want. This is why rituals, visualization, and meditation work so well. They quiet the noise long enough for certainty to take root again. To make these ideas real, imagine a woman named Elena who wants to leave her draining job and start her own design studio. For years, she's told herself it's impossible. She's repeated affirmations without emotion, written goals while feeling secretly afraid, and taken frantic action, hoping something will change. Nothing does. Then she discovers Grinberg's work and decides to try his approach. She picks a simple, clear intention, signing her first client within the next month. She spends time every morning in silence, calming her mind, until her thoughts slow. When her mind is quiet, she visualizes the email arriving from her first client. She imagines reading it, seeing her name in it, feeling her heart race. She lets herself feel the pride and relief as if it's already real. At first, doubt rises. She notices fear, saying, "What if this is foolish?" Instead of fighting it, she acknowledges it, breathes deeply, and returns to the feeling of pride. She does this ritual every morning, not with tension but with gentle focus, like watering a seed. After 2 weeks, she feels lighter. Her anxiety fades. One afternoon, while casually sharing her work on social media, an old classmate messages her, asking if she takes freelance projects. They sign a contract days later. To her, it feels sudden, like magic. But what really happened is that her neuronal field became coherent, and the lattice matched her new signal. The moment she stopped pushing and started aligning, reality reorganized to meet her. Grinberg would say this isn't a miracle, it's mechanics. Elena tuned her mind like a radio, and the station came through. The speed wasn't about force, it was about clarity. And the reason her manifestation came fast was because she stopped scattering her energy in doubt and resistance. This is the difference between those who manifest quickly and those who spend years trying. It's never about who deserves it more. It's about who can hold their signal steady long enough for the lattice to lock onto it. But the story doesn't end when the first manifestation arrives. One of Grinberg's most important lessons was that the real challenge is how to maintain speed after the first manifest. Many people experience an initial success and then lose it. They celebrate, then begin fearing it will disappear. That fear collapses their coherence. They go back to overthinking, overworking, and checking if it's still there. The lattice mirrors this new fear, and the manifestation unravels. Grinberg taught that maintaining speed means treating your new reality as normal, not as something fragile you must protect. The way to do this is to keep internal coherence. Even after success appears, you must keep your thoughts, emotions, and attention aligned with the state of already having it. If you receive abundance, feel abundant. If you receive love, feel loved. Do not shift back into scarcity or doubt. Coherence is not something you do once. It's something you live in. This doesn't mean suppressing fear, but gently returning your focus to the emotional tone of your desired reality until it becomes your default state. Another part of maintaining speed is to keep letting go of resistance. Resistance often sneaks back in after success because the mind starts clinging to the result. It thinks I must hold on to this, which creates tension. That tension fractures the neuronal field again. Grinberg said the mind must stay as open after receiving as it was before. The same trust that allowed the manifestation must remain, or the field will contract. Letting go is not about not caring, it's about not grasping. It's staying relaxed enough that the energy can keep flowing through you instead of getting stuck around you. And finally, maintaining speed requires daily alignment. Alignment is not a one-time event. It's a daily choice to return to coherence. Even a few minutes each morning can reset your entire field. Sit in silence, breathe deeply, and remember the emotional state of your desired reality. Feel it as if it's who you already are. This refreshes the pattern in your neuronal field, so it stays locked to the lattice. Over time, this daily practice turns alignment into habit. The more often you return to coherence, the less effort you need to stay there. Grinberg's message was that manifestation is not about forcing outcomes, but maintaining harmony. When you try too hard, wish without belief, or collapse into doubt, you scatter your signal and slow the process. But when you release tension, cultivate belief, and stay aligned even after success, the flow doesn't stop. Reality keeps reorganizing itself around you, faster and faster, until what once felt impossible becomes simply the way your world works. So now you've seen how it works, the hidden mechanics behind rapid manifestation through Jacobo Grinberg's lens. First, you create a clear intention and hold it with true belief. Then you match it emotionally, letting your body feel as if it's already real. You focus without resistance, keeping your mind calm and steady, and finally, you anchor it through repetition or ritual until your neuronal field becomes fully coherent. These are not just abstract ideas, they are steps you can practice today. Even 5 quiet minutes each morning can start to shift your field and tune you into the lattice. Try it. Watch how small inner changes begin to echo outward into your world. Because when your consciousness becomes clear enough to meet the lattice, anything is possible. If this message sparked something inside you, give this video a like and subscribe to Awaken Synchronicity for more powerful insights from Jacobo Grinberg's work. Your journey into the hidden structure of reality is only just beginning.